very much, Liz. So hi, everyone. Terrific to be back for our second day here for the military pitch event. I'm Paul Grand. I'm the CEO of MedTech Innovator for anyone who wasn't here on the first day. It's terrific to have everyone back. Yesterday's session was really great. We had, as Liz mentioned, 18 startups presenting, which was terrific, as well as about 70 judges or experts, which you'll hear more about shortly. My background is I'm a former entrepreneur who started 8 different companies. Then I got invited to join a venture capital fund that I spent 12 years at as a venture capitalist focused on life sciences. The last 8 years of that were focused entirely on MedTech. And then I started MedTech Innovator while I was a venture capitalist as a program designed to help startups get visibility and attention. And ultimately, we wound up spinning that out. And that's why we are here today. So let me tell you about MedTech Innovator a little bit and about this event. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we have some context for what this is about. For those of you on our reviewers side who were part of this event yesterday, if you need to step out for a couple minutes and stretch or do any last things before we get started, this introduction is going to be the same, so you don't have to watch the same introduction twice. But for anyone who did not judge yesterday and for the startups that are here for the first time today, welcome to our military pitch event, day number 2. This is a key part of the MedTech Innovator program each year, where we work very closely with the USARMY MRDC and MTEC, our co-hosts for today, in bringing together startups that have a key area of focus that matches the military's interest for this year. So very excited to welcome you. The startups who are presenting today were selected out of over 800 applicants who were possibilities at the time, and that's pretty incredible. So congratulations to you all on being selected for today. So let me tell you about MedTech Innovator and give you some housekeeping rules. Again, Liz mentioned this before, but I'm going to repeat it one more time. Which is to make sure that when you have done your test for your audio, please make sure you mute yourself. We want to make sure that we're able to hear all the speakers. And even during the pitch rounds, judges try and mute yourself while the speakers are speaking during their presentations, especially in our lightning round this morning. Secondly, make sure you rename yourself. All you have to do is move your mouse over your screen, find the little participants button, click that, and then find your name, and you can either right click it or control click it depending on the computer you're on, and change your name to be your name dash your company. And that way Liz can move you to the places you need to be during the event today. You will not be able to choose where you're going today. We have to do that for you. So we will completely control that. So again, I'm Paul Grand. In the corner over there on the screen, you'll see our hashtag, hashtag MedTech Innovator. So if you're on Twitter or LinkedIn, we love you to post to social media. Our startups have found a great amount of interest in their companies after doing that. So at MedTech Awards for Twitter and hashtag MedTech Innovator for LinkedIn. Screen capture if you want today and post those along with your posts. We've seen a lot of great traction from those. So please be sure to tag us in those as well. All right, so let me tell you a little more about MedTech Innovator. We are a nonprofit. MedTech Innovator was started 6 years ago officially, even though we've been in business for 8 years officially we've been running this program for 8 years. And basically what we are is an industry effort designed to find the best startups in the world and make sure that they succeed. And when I say succeed, I mean bringing their technology to patients, and with the appropriate values that those products can be purchased. That's what this program is all about. And ultimately, we're here to improve patient lives. What you see on the picture on your screen is the graduating class of MedTech Innovator 2019, along with behind them, the products that have been brought to the market by our alumni, something we're very, very proud of. So let me tell you a little more about our alumni. We have 258 alumni who've been through MedTech Innovators programs over the years. We've graduated 6 cohorts from our accelerator in the US and Asia Pacific. And most importantly, we have 54 products that have been brought to the market by our alumni. And that's something we're incredibly proud of. We also have over 74 regulatory approvals at this point, which is pretty amazing. That's in the US, as well as CE markings. So very exciting. We also have an Asia Pacific program that has a whole parallel class that also has similar exciting statistics. Our companies have gone on to raise over 1.6 billion in follow-on funding, which is just, in my opinion, kind of unrivaled in terms of performance. We have super high performing startups. And the thing that I'm so excited about when I say we have 258 alumni is that this is the peer group that is super high performing and is able to help each other in their journey. Every single day, I read messages on LinkedIn and see postings from people who are congratulating each other, who are recommending each other. I just had two of our alumni yesterday who were contacting each other about a customer, and that they had looped me into the conversation. So we see these constantly. So it's a great opportunity for startups to work together. We're on the road tour. The military event wraps up our road tour, which started in Chicago, and we're going to go to all of the cities that you see here, but we wind up doing a lot of these events online as a result of COVID-19. We even had a special COVID-19 pitch event, which you don't see on the slide over here. That wasn't officially part of the road tour, but we added it on a week ago, and that allowed us to see a number of startups that specifically were focused on deploying right away to solve the COVID-19 crisis. So very excited about that. As I mentioned, this is a road tour where we see the opportunity to meet with startups selected out of our overall pool. In total, there were over 1,000 companies that applied this year. And our road tour has been running, as I said, since February 18th, which is a very important of our selection process because it's an opportunity for us to get to know you. So our accelerator and showcase program is something that we typically do in person at the beginning and at the end of our program. This year, because of COVID-19, the kickoff will be virtual, but this is to give you a little bit of a visual idea of what it's like. We bring together all of the startups that are part of our program, all of our partners. We bring together a number of the federal agencies and a lot of the key stakeholders in general in the industry, whether they're payers, providers, and so on. We bring everybody together and we spend a number of days, which will be spread out virtually this year, where we get to know each other as a cohort, but also work together to solve challenges. So this is all about bringing together leaders. So these are the startup leaders, again, selected from over 1,000 companies. The idea is to bring together these people and solve common challenges. We want to bring your products to market. We want them to be successful. At the end of the program, we all get together in person at AdvaMed's conference, which is called the MedTech Conference. It will be this year, October 4th through 7th in Toronto. All things, hopefully going well. If for some reason that conference, it's either going to be a totally in-person conference, a hybrid in-person and virtual conference, or a virtual conference, but they've got those plans taken care of no matter what. The way the conference works, you see over here on the bottom left, there's an exhibit hall as well as a number of stages and conference rooms throughout the conference. And what you see here is the MedTech Innovator class of 2019 on some of the panels last year during the conference. So we actually have all of you, all the startups that are selected for our program will be on panels, will be featured for the industry so that they get a chance to learn about your technologies and get to meet you. We also have our final competition, which you see there in the bottom right in front of the whole audience. So that's Force Devices winning last year for their disruptive technology related to triaging stroke, which we think is really going to make a huge impact on saving lives. Very excited for them. They won the grand prize, which will be the same prize we award this year, $350,000 non-dilutive funding to the first prize. And then we also give out an additional $150,000 in additional prizes to others who participate in the program. In total, there'll be 50 companies selected for our main cohort. We'll have 10 companies additionally in a pediatric track and another 20 companies from Asia Pacific. So there'll be 80 companies in this year's cohorts overall for MedTech Innovator. Very exciting, and a number of people on today's call will definitely be up here on this stage, hopefully in person in October. So I told you about MedTech Innovator a bit. I'm going to introduce Bill Howell in a moment. I want to also point out that the key part of MedTech Innovator is, as I mentioned, it's all about our partners and the ability for us to bring in people who really are industry leaders and who have the right connections and have the right resources to help companies succeed. Our accelerator program that I mentioned before is mentorship driven. So we have all of our corporate partners who you'll learn more about shortly will be participating in that and involved in the mentoring. We've been working for 3 years now with MTEC and the US Army to put together events that are similar today, where we find military interests and we bring together the leaders of the military who you need to meet with, who can answer your questions, who can ask you questions as well, and really determine the best path for you forward. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bill, and you can tell us a little more about MTEC.
Morning. Thank you, Paul. And I assume you can hear me.
We can.
Okay, very good. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for being a part of us. First of all, congratulations again to those companies that we will see today. As Paul mentioned, we started with over 800, matriculated down in about 3 or 4 steps to get it to about 35 that over the 2 days we will see. The military were a part of that last selection, so this is not just our pick, but theirs as well as the companies they wanted to see. So 35 out of 800 is not a bad deal. So congratulations to you. The MTEC is a nonprofit, and our mission and goal in life is to basically go find and support medical technologies that can help out the military on the battlefield predominantly. We want to accelerate the development of those products and get them out so they can be used as quick as possible on the battlefield and with our military. In that, obviously our leading customer is the military. It's really our only customer in the sense of where we're driven toward, but they do provide us dollars. And the way that we work is that they give us particular areas of medical need, clinical need that they see, and we go out and we find companies and technologies scattered around the world, and we bring them to bid on particular solicitations that we would put out. The military then evaluates those particular proposals or white papers that would come in through our portal and selects which particular ones we would end up funding, and we do the award there too. So we're kind of a broker front end for them, in which we go out and look for companies and technologies to try to match up, and in so doing, eventually we'll do solicitations and awards and put out dollars. Last year we did just under 80 million. This year we're probably looking at close to about 120 million that will come through our doors. Some of that is the COVID-19. We've been selected to push 3 different products or 3 different needs, I should say, out the door in the last month or so. So we've been pretty busy and will continue to be busy, I think, in that front. With us today, we've got, we have evaluators from the military as well as from MTEC, and I'm just going to give a quick shout out to some of those folks. From the military side, we have Dalia Giraj, she's with the Infectious Disease Program, Valerie DeVito from the Military Operational Medicine, Todd Getz and hopefully RT Amin from the Combat Casualty Care Trauma Group, and Tony Gover from Clinical and Rehab. So we've got representatives from different parts of the research portfolio within the U.S. Army and to a certain degree from the Joint Programming Committees, which represent all the services. On top of that, we've got former military or folks who have been in MTEC for quite a while now. We're about a 5-year-old entity. Keith Martin, Dr. Keith Martin, apologies, Keith. Dr. Lauren Palestrini, Rick Satcher, Dr. Lester Martinez, retired 2-star who used to run the Army's Medical Research and Material Command. I was one of his deputies. And Mr. Dave Hood out on the West Coast. Unfortunately, Dr. Ken Bertram, who was with us yesterday, cannot make it today, but all of those folks represent a whole lot of years of working with the military, and so we're kind of a good conduit to be able to understand what they're looking for. And in so doing, as we get done here today and we go downstream, we can certainly help you as companies. You can reach out to us on the MTEC side to try and adjust or make you aware a little bit better what the military is after. But hopefully today, when you give your pitch in the time period afterward, there'll be some chances to be able to walk through some of that. Otherwise, I think that's good for the moment, Paul, unless you've got something else, sir.
Sir, you did a terrific job on that. Thank you, Bill. As I mentioned before, it's terrific to work with Bill and the team at MTEC, as well as the colleagues at US USARMY MRDC. One of the things that we found, we talk to our alumni all the time about their experiences and how, ask them how things are going. And I know MTEC has been a tremendous resource for them. And they go to their annual meeting and participate in general. I know it's been a great resource for helping them with funding, and not just with funding, but also understanding kind of how to navigate that infrastructure and how to best interact with the military. So that's been terrific. Thank you very much, Bill.
Sure, no, one more thing, Paul. I'm going to give you a shout out early instead of late. You and Liz did a great job yesterday putting this all together. I really have to tell you, I was a little, had a little trepidation as to how it worked out, get into our breakout groups and the rest, and all worked lovely yesterday. I'm sure it will today. So thanks.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate it. All right, let me go back to our slide presentation. So stand by for that. So again, thank you, Bill, and the team over at MTEC. Now let me tell you a little more about some of our other partners who you're going to have a chance to meet today in many cases. So MedTech Innovator is sponsored by the people you see here on this slide. But more importantly than their financial support, all the people you see participate in our program as mentors, as part of our selection committee, in choosing the companies that get to pitch at events like the one today, as well as being involved throughout the entire program. So in some of these cases, they might have 24 or more people at their organization working with MedTech Innovator. We could never do what we do without these organizations in terms of their manpower support, not just their financial support. So J&J and RCT helped put this entity together with their initial funding back in 2016. And then the other companies you see here joined after that. Baxter, Maxim Integrated, Nipro, Olympus and Gore, Asahi Intech, Edwards, Fujikura, Jabil, Zymedica, Edge1, Experian Group, Greenlight Group, Proxima, Westwood and Wilshire. You're going to meet representatives from most, if not all, of these companies today, depending on which group you're participating in. And the important thing is, as I mentioned, that these are people who are with the same alignment, trying to find products that they believe can be successful, and they're doing everything they can to help with that success. So they'll be involved in mentoring the startups, in providing them with resources, and really just in some cases, even just introductions as needed to make sure that these technologies are actually the right products, so that when they finally do get to the market, that they're able to be purchased and used in the way that we all really want to see them used. So terrific group of people, and hopefully you'll get a chance to meet some of them today in your judging groups. Also, one of the things that I always like to mention is that there are all sorts of great things we can do to help startups. We obviously can't help you with your, the technology itself. If the technology fails for some reason, that's probably in some cases beyond your and our control. Or if the, if the studies you're doing don't pan out the way you want, well, those things happen. But there are a lot of things that are you're in control, and we don't want to see you fail. So my COO, Catherine Zavala, and I put together an article a couple months ago in Stat News, which you can Google. Just Google why healthcare startups fail, or the 10 reasons why healthcare startups fail, and you'll find this article. And it's basically summarizing 10 things that are in your control. And these are things that you can fix. We want to make sure you succeed, and we don't want you to fail for the wrong reason. So I highly suggest you look this up and look at the tips for the things that we offer that you can do to fix these problems. So please do read this article. We want you to be successful. So I mentioned that we have, in addition to the military representatives in MTEC, we also have judges from all across the industry. And I'm going to put up some slides really quick to give you a quick sense of who we have here today. I'm not going to read up every single company name, but I'll point out the fact that we have people represented from not only our partners, which is mainly what you see here on this screen, but also we have people represented from a number of investment firms. There's a number of venture firms here, angel investors represented as well, entities that help people in terms of non-dilutive funding and getting access to other government agencies are participating today. We have people who are here from banks, from investment banks, from the Department of Commerce in Maryland, from also we have a number of people from some hospital systems that are participating today who can talk to you about what your product, or ask you questions related to your product and how it might actually be deployed in the provider setting. We have people here from the Naval Postgraduate School as well as the VA. So there's a number of representatives you might have a chance to meet with today who can really help you in your path to bring these products to market. We have attorneys who are participating today who can talk to you about intellectual property and so on. So it's a really great opportunity. We're also very pleased to have representatives from MedMark. The MedTech Innovator Road Tour is sponsored by MedMark, and I'll give you a chance to meet some of the personnel from MedMark later who can tell you about MedMark. We also have CARTA on board today. Caitlin is here, and CARTA is an organization that, if you haven't already heard about them, provides an amazing product related to cap tables that I've been checking out. So something also pretty interesting to look at. And now it's the startups' turn. So what we've done is we've gathered 14 startups today that you're going to be hearing from. They're all on this call and they're all ready to go. Each of these startups is going to be in a series of 20-minute breakout sessions with our judging groups. The judges have been grouped together based on common interests in startups. Some of our judges will be moving around, which I'll tell you a little more about shortly. But because those judges are not going to have the opportunity to see all 14 companies for 20 minutes each, we give the startups an opportunity to give a 1-minute pitch where you're going to have the ability to tell us your story in 1 minute. So it's just a teaser. You don't have to tell us everything. We're going to have a little countdown corner of the slides. So please watch for that. It's going to start green and then it'll turn yellow and then it turns red when it's time to stop. So startups, please try and keep to that 1 minute. And we're going to have you go back to back. So I'm just going to call out your company name. And if you could unmute yourself when you hear your company name and start giving your presentation, that would be terrific. So this is the order. I'm also going to put up the logos real quick so you can just see the companies visually in terms of what their logos look like, so you can recognize them later. We're very excited to have all these companies. So first up is going to be AdvaMedica. I'm going to put up their slide. And if Leo, you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, let's hear about AdvaMedica.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks, Paul. It's great to be here. So I'm Leo Mavely. I'm a bioengineering, I have a bioengineering background. We are a medtech company focused on trauma, pre-hospital trauma care, intraoperative care, and advanced wound care. Here today, we are here with a product that's sort of like life-saving product, which is required in the military. So probably all the armed forces veterans here, they do understand how important is controlling life-threatening bleeding in a battlefield. So 1 out of 2 soldiers have died until date in all last major wars due to uncontrolled hemorrhage. And we take a biomaterial-based approach towards this. So we have developed a bioadhesive hemostat, which looks like a gauze, just in a mild yellow color, but it's 100% bioadhesive, biopolymer-based hemostatic gauze, which can be applied with minimal training, with minimal compression, even at the junctional areas. A little bit of our company, we are a Series B funded company. We've been a pioneer in the hemostatic space with products for pre-hospital as well as intraoperative space. We came to military recently, but we've been closing arteries in interventional procedures for the last 3 years now. So our first product line in hemostatic range was already approved with 510(k) and CE mark in about 25 countries. The hemostatic gauze, which we have come up with, is currently undergoing the FDA evaluation, and we hope to bring to market very soon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Leo. All right. Next up, we have Best Health for You. So go ahead and give us your 1 minute.
Okay, sorry. Hello, my name is Ana Ferreira. I'm the business developer of Best Health for You. We developed a solution for a medical device. Long-term and frequent uses of medical devices often causes severe skin injuries because the adhesive strips and damages the skin, causing MARSI, medical adhesive-related skin injuries. As a solution, Best Health for You developed Bio2Skin, a medical adhesive that revolutionizes the current concept of skin adhesion. It is the first technology that effectively prevents and eliminates MARSI. Bio2Skin is a nano-based glueless material that binds to the natural features of the skin through water molecules and hydrogen bonds. It offers a painless and damage-free adhesion to the skin for a wide range of medical products such as wound dressings, ostomy bags, skin patches, and so on. We look forward to telling a little more about our technology and how Bio2Skin can positively impact the life and health of patients. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anna. You know, I actually should have mentioned this too. Just maybe just tell us briefly about yourself and where you're from.
Oh, okay. So we are a Portuguese startup. My background is in biochemistry and biotechnology of medical devices. And also in this call, we have the CTO of the company, Nelson Oliveira, and he's an expert in material science and engineering.
Thank you, Anna. All right. Next up, Flow Bio.
Hello, I'm Jerry Ann Thatcher, CEO of Flow Bio, and for millions that die every year due to bleeding complications and thrombotic complications, many of these are considered preventable. And for the hospitals and clinicians that are focused on preventing these complications and deaths, reducing costs, and they really want to drive evidence-based decision-making in emergency care settings, there really is an urgent need for early and rapid identification of underlying clotting problems that often go undetected. At Flow Bio, we rapidly identify the source of the problem, providing actionable information to personalize treatment and prevent complications. And our goal is really to provide a very simple, easy to use point of care platform that requires a small amount of blood in a very novel microfluidic cartridge with results in less than 10 minutes. Our founder is Dr. Scott Diamond out of the University of Pennsylvania, who's world-renowned in blood biology and microfluidics. And we're building a very talented team around the technology. And we're currently raising $1 million to advance our working prototype and our regulatory planning.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, next we have Hero Medical.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Debbie.
Okay, I'm Debbie Cantor. I'm a nurse practitioner and co-founder of Hero Medical. We are the first company housed at the Mayo Clinic Life Sciences Incubator, and we're winners of the Johnson & Johnson J-Labs Perioperative Quickfire Challenge. That was a mouthful. Americans sustain nearly 3 million head injuries and 1 million amputations a year, and we have developed a better way to treat them. Now, with the high incidence, people are still wrapping like we did thousands of years ago, just mummifying patients. Our patented cap-shaped one-piece bandage in the picture and right here has been tested at the Mayo Clinic and proves 3 times faster to apply. We're also patented to have impregnated gauze with things like chitosan and antimicrobials, and we're also including sensor technology for triage. We're seeking funding to help with product development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie. Nice job. All right, next up, Loop Diagnostics.
Hello, I'm Enrique, CEO of LoopDX. We are developing a novel first-in-class in vitro cellular immunocyte that identify bloodstream infections and immune activity. The problem is when the infection disease becomes severe. This condition is caused by when pathogen penetrates your blood, usually called sepsis. After this pandemic, usually 27 million are affected, but with the pandemic, more than 60 million is affected of sepsis. The current solution, one are focused to the pathogen that take time to the result, and the other serum biomarkers solution are not specific and sensitive enough. Why? Because both appear after 6 hours of the infection. Our solution, we have developed a new method and kit to identify immune activity biomarkers be more sensitive and specific than competitors, because this biomarker is appear after 1 hour of infection. Our business model is to sell the disposable and the reader to the hospital. As you can see here, the Loop team are a multidisciplinary background from clinic, Erika Paola, market, Edu, and myself, Enrique. Thank you very much. We are Loop Diagnostic, early diagnosed bloodstream infection, flatter the sepsis curve.
Based in Barcelona?
Based in Barcelona.
All right, excellent. Good to have you here. Thank you very much. All right, next up, we have NeuroFlow.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Matt McClett. I'm the head of clinical operations for NeuroFlow. We're based out of Philadelphia. I'm a former Army captain. I work in mental health and substance use policy. Really NeuroFlow is doing three things. We're helping to measure behavioral health outcomes. So that's through things like validated assessments, subjective measures, and biometrics, which then helps care teams and leadership know how to better manage their population. So we're able to risk stratify, identify who's most at risk, provide clinical decision support to the clinical team so they understand what the next step should be with treating that patient, and delivering unit-specific or individual resources. We're also motivating individuals. So what we're able to do is use what we measure from the service member to deliver tailored content back to them. So if we identify depression type content, and provide them feedback to be able to track their own data, track their outcomes over time, and set their own goals and see how they're actually meeting those quantitatively.
Thank you, Matt. Great job. All right, next up we have PlasFree.
Hi, good morning to everybody. Hope you can hear me. My name is Zev Dvashi, PhD in immunology, CEO of PlasFree. We are located in Nazareth, Israel. The company manufactures clear plasma, which enhances the coagulation properties of blood products. Clear plasma is a single-use device that has shown significant ability to reduce massive bleeding in preclinical studies, and currently being tested in multicentral clinical studies in Europe and Israel. It is a portable device and can be an easy connect to plasma transfusion bags to yield improved plasma units that can reduce internal and external bleeding in more than 55%. Our device, clear plasma, can be treated injured soldiers in the front line where there is a limited supply of red blood cells, platelets, or other coagulation factors that are missing in those area, and give a better solution. By using our device, clear plasma, in the battlefield, we can give better treatment to soldiers and civilians by reducing bleeding, thus can save life.
Terrific, thank you very much. All right, next up, Plasmology 4.
Good morning, my name is Emilia Kulaga. I am Director of Research at Plasmology 4. The company is based in Arizona, Scottsdale. With the ongoing pandemic, we now think more than ever how our lives are changed by microscopic enemies. What if I told you that the next pandemic is already upon us? We know what it is, and we know we are developing a cure. The microscopic enemy are antibiotic-resistant bacteria, also called superbugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people in the world, and in US alone, there is 2.8 million antibiotic-resistant infections reported each year. Superbugs gain resistance to drugs faster than the new drugs are developed. Now imagine a treatment that works on contact, is broad spectrum, and does not lead to resistance. Don't imagine, let me show you. By combining high voltage electricity with proprietary gas, a glowing gas plasma, a fourth state of matter is generated and delivered to wound tissue where it destroys pathogens on contact without harming the tissue. In fact, Plas4 was recently recognized by Food and Drug Administration as a breakthrough device.
Terrific, thank you, Amelia. And if you could ship one of those to my house after this, I would really appreciate it. All right, next up, Q2 Pharma.
Good morning, I'm Menachem Shoham. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer and the co-founder of Q2 Pharma. We are located in Israel, and we are developing antibacterial agents against multi-drug resistant bacterial pathogens. We have two products in our pipeline. The first is antivirulence agents against gram-positive pathogens, notably MRSA. How do antivirulence agents work? they disarm the pathogens of disease-causing toxins. And no toxins, no disease. And since this treatment does not kill the bacteria, there is no survival pressure to develop resistance. These antivirulence agents are efficacious in wound healing and clearing the bacteria from wounds, and also efficacious in invasive infections such as bacteremia and sepsis. The second product in our pipeline is a first-in-class antibiotic against gram-negative pathogens, notably pan-resistant Neisseria, gonorrhea, and carbapenem-resistant Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, QSM Diagnostics.
Hi, morning. I'm Ed Golick, founder and CEO of QSM Diagnostics. And this was a great lead-in from the previous company, because for us, QSM is quorum sensing molecules. These are a lot of the virulence factors and molecules that bacteria are producing to communicate. And we have a platform technology for detecting these molecules in order to rapidly identify when an infection is present in an outpatient facility. And we're working now to integrate this into monitoring systems so that you can detect when a bacteria infection is expanding and how you're responding to treatments. We're currently testing our point of care detectors in veterinary clinics around the US, and we're working with the Navy to test this out for wound monitoring testing. And we're interested in integrating this into wound treatments and catheter-associated infection monitoring as a new technology underlying this. And hope to tell you more about it later. My background's in bioengineering. For the last 10 years, I've been developing this tech, and we're based out of Boston, Massachusetts.
All right. Thank you very much, Ed. Okay. Next up, Renovo.
All right. Good morning. My name is Charlie Bilps. I'm president of Renovo Concepts. Every year in the U.S., approximately 500,000 patients suffer severe traumatic, ischemic, and hemorrhagic injuries of the brain, heart, and spine. These patients require immediate care for their primary injury, but secondary injuries expand the damage and cell death far beyond the borders of the original injury. Doctors Morikwa and Argenta of Wake Forest University have researched a new technique, mechanical tissue resuscitation, or MTR, to mitigate the effects of these secondary injuries. This is the same team that revolutionized the treatment of wounds globally with their blockbuster device, the VAC. The first phase of product development will address secondary injuries associated with traumatic brain injury. With established inventors, a proven team, published preclinical studies, issued IP, our company is well positioned to change lives and improve patient outcomes. For this audience, I'd also like to note that the DoD funded some of the original published preclinical work. So I look forward to speaking with everyone after this introduction.
Thanks, Charlie. All right. Next up, we have Sense Diagnostics.
There we go. Good morning. I'm Jeff Hess, CEO of Sense Diagnostics here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we have developed non-invasive real-time brain scanning technology targeting traumatic brain injury and all stroke types, not just LVO. We can detect, measure, and monitor traumatic brain injury as small as 1 milliliter throughout the entire cranial vault in less than 1 minute. Our military application, we will be using the same technology but deliver it in 2 different devices. One device will be a small triage device, about 12 cubic inches for use in the field to rapidly detect TBI hemorrhage. The other will be used in field hospitals and during transport that will not only detect the hemorrhage, but will also measure the size of the bleed and monitor for bleed expansion. TBI has become the signature wound of the military today. When time is brain, technology to rapidly assess brain condition, provide monitoring for worsening conditions is critical. Our warfighters deserve access to our technology. We will save lives, reduce disability, and will overall lower the ongoing cost of TBI treatment.
That sounds great, Jeff. Thank you. All right, next, SepTech.
Hello, good morning. I hope you can all see me. Slow clinical diagnosis of sepsis resulted in 11 million deaths last year. SepTech delivers the first bedside blood test that can detect sepsis-causing pathogens in 15 minutes. Our whole innovation is the simplicity of the device for the end user. Patients could receive targeted treatment days before the current care pathway, which would result in millions of people going home to their families rather than the tragic and avoidable alternative. SepTech's core technology was developed in Dublin City University using the core specialities of electrochemistry and biochemistry of the co-founders, myself, Dr. Elaine Spain, and Dr. Kelly Adamson. We have built a highly experienced award-winning team which specialize in science, engineering, and business expertise. Our device is very clinically driven, and we have a wide network of clinical partners who see the value of our approach and wants to stop this global epidemic. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Elaine. All right, and TerraPlasma.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Unfortunately, I'm still in my car due to a traffic accident I witnessed, and I had to wait for a police. So sorry for talking from my car, but I will be home in some minutes. Thank you for already telling a bit about plasma. We are a company based in Munich and have the first mobile cold plasma device where we are generating cold atmospheric plasma out of the air and are able to do this in a portable handheld device. We have a lot of different application areas. We are CE approved for dermatological and wound care applications already, and we will get FDA approval in the next time for that. And then we are currently doing first clinical trials on COVID-19 patients, where we are using our technology to disinfect the wound and throat area to reduce the viral load there. And yeah, I'm happy to discuss further applications, especially in the wound area, where I guess it could be very fruitful for the military.
Thank you for that. That was our first person giving a presentation while driving, so very impressive.
On German Autobahn.
Hopefully you'll get home soon to where you can do your pitches and not driving. All right.
I'm home in 2 minutes, so no problem.
Perfect timing. All right, I'll stall for 2 minutes. Okay, great. So that was our last of the 14 companies. So terrific. 1 minute summaries. Great job, guys. That's not easy to do, to tell the story and tell us about yourselves in 1 minute. Now you're going to have the luxury of 20 minutes. But I want to give you just again a brief orientation on what's going to happen now for these next quick sessions. So the way this works is we're able to use one of the advanced features in Zoom that not most people don't use, which is a breakout room function. And essentially, one of my team members, who I'm going to introduce in a second, will be moving you around from room to room. So startups, you don't have to do anything other than click a little button when it comes up that says enter your breakout room, and you'll be automatically moved into the proper room to give your pitch. What we want you to do is keep your pitch as short as possible. We recommend 5 minutes. If it gets to about 7 minutes, you really should wrap up. We try to have MedTech Innovator team members in as many of these rooms as possible, but we won't have them in every room. So please watch the time yourself. Also, judges, if you're in a room without a MedTech Innovator representative, please watch the time as well. And if you see somebody who's going 7 minutes or 8 minutes, please tell them, hey guys, we really need to have some time for Q&A. Because today isn't just about your pitch, it's about discussion. We want to have a chance for the representatives from the Army, as well as MTEC and all of our other judges to have an opportunity to ask you the questions that will help them in helping you. So make sure you give them time to do so. There's going to be little warnings that will come up on the top of the screen. So you'll see one at the 10-minute mark that will say 10 minutes left. That means you should definitely be done with your slide presentation and be into Q&A by then. And then you'll see another one at 5 minutes left, which means you should be, getting to the final questions for the judges. And then you'll see a 60-second warning that will take up most of the screen, and it'll start counting down from 60 down to 0. When it hits 0, you're going to be back in the main room, everybody, for a little 5-minute break, which is a chance to stretch if you need to, chance to take a break if you need to, and also an opportunity for us to introduce some of the other people who are on the call today, so you get a chance to get to know them. So we're going to be doing that in between each of those sessions. There'll be 5 sessions in the main portion, and then there'll be one last session, which is a networking/break session. In that session, we call it networking. That's an opportunity for someone who perhaps saw one of these 14 pitches and said, hey, you know what, I didn't get to meet with that company, but I'm actually pretty interested. You can message Liz, Liz at MedTech Innovator. You'll see here in the list of chat participants. If you just click on Liz's name, you can type her a message and say, hey, during the networking, I'd really like to meet with, and the name of the company. And she'll be queuing those up, and she'll actually create ad hoc breakout rooms, and she'll put people together. So she'll put together the judge or judges who request a startup with that startup. So we'll tell you more about that later in the session. And so with that, I'm going to introduce a couple of my team members real quick so you'll know them if they're in your room. So first off, Liz Peak, you've probably received some emails from. She's our program director. Liz, you want to say hello? You may need to unmute, Liz.
Sorry, yes. Hi, everyone. Yes, hopefully everyone here has received an email from me, one point or another. As Paul said, I'm the program director. And I think as Paul has explained in previous events, I will be air traffic controllering today's event. So if you have any issues, feel free to message me on chat.
Very good. Thank you, Liz. Let me also introduce Catherine Zavala, our COO and VP of Business Development.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the military pitch event. Again, thank you to all the judges and thank you to the startups for being here. We're really looking forward to hearing the pitches.
Thank you, Catherine. Catherine, fresh back from maternity leave, so terrific to have you back. Catherine's been with MedTech Innovator since MedTech Innovator was MedTech Innovator, so great to have you here. Brian Benson, our VP of Strategic Alliances.
Hi, everybody. It's always so impressive to see the global reach of MedTech Innovators companies. So exciting to see everybody from the Audubon to Israel participating. So thanks again. And yeah, looking forward to the pitches. If yesterday was an indication of today, I think we're going to have some exciting conversations, and looking forward to meeting the companies and some of our new judges participating today.
Terrific. Thank you very much. So those are the core members of the MedTech Innovator team. Really happy to have all of them present. And you'll have a chance, as I said, perhaps to see some of them in your rooms during today. You can also message them if you have any questions throughout the event. When you're in a breakout room, you can only message people within the breakout room. So that's something else to keep in mind. If for some reason you had to reach to reach Liz, for example, while you're in a breakout room, not presenters, but others, you can hit the little leave breakout room link in the bottom of the screen. That'll take you back to the main room. Ask her any questions, and then you can hit the breakout button at the bottom and re-enter your breakout room after that. So that's it. Judges, again, make sure you mute your microphones while the presenters are doing their initial presentation, unless you need to unmute and tell them to stop if they're going too long. So again, startups, do not use your 20 minutes to do a slide presentation. Try and keep that to no more than 7 minutes, and closer to 5 is better. So that's it. The way these are going to work is there'll be 20-minute sessions. Again, they'll end, we'll come back, and we'll have the short breaks in between. So Liz, if you're ready to take us into our first round, I'm ready to go.